The city of Jasper is looking into adding an exercise trail, more on what they're proposing, plus DuBois County Clerk Bridget Jarboe stops by to talk more about boat centers, and Rebecca Murder and Andrea King with SOAR are tonight's guests on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin this evening with two environmental groups challenging Indiana's extension of a construction permit for a proposed $2.8 billion coal gasification plant in southern Indiana. The Sierra Club and Valley Watch want an administrative law judge to strike down the Department of Environmental Management's December decision to extend Indiana gasification's permit until June 27th of this year. The appeal, which was filed on Monday, contends that the permit is invalid because the public didn't have a chance to comment on the extension request. The agency says a comment period was not necessary because the permit wasn't altered, just extended. Now, Indiana Gasification is awaiting Governor Mike Pence's decision on whether he'll support the plant planned for the Ohio River town of Rockport. The company has a 30-year state contract requiring Indiana to buy the synthetic natural gas that the plant would produce. Plans for a multi-use path around the city of Jasper continue to take shape. City officials are currently looking into the idea of connecting an area of trails along the Riverwalk with the current paved trail on St. Charles Street. Now, the idea being pursued would involve running a path between the two trails. City engineer Chad Herm says the preferred route of the new path would traverse Northwood Avenue, 30th Street, Cathy Lane, and one of the streets in the vicinity of Kimball International buildings located east of Kellerville Road and north of 15th Street. The idea is part of the city's rescoping of the northern section of the project, according to Herm. Herm says though the city does have some leftover money from a different NDOT grant, the city will need more funding due to uncertainty on the timeline of the project.
What we are requesting is additional funding through NDOT for this project. The project is slated to either be broken down into phases in which we could possibly begin a phase in 2015, or if we try to do the entire project, it would more than likely be 2016 would be the construction time frame for it.
Herm says in the end, connecting the trails would be another step towards the city's ultimate goal.
We would have a continuous sidewalk from 15th Street and St. Charles all the way up to Northwood Avenue, along Northwood Avenue, back down to the Riverwalk, and then from the north end of the Riverwalk all the way down to Ruxer Golf Course. The ultimate goal of this is to make a continuous loop around the city of Jasper, ultimately being 7+ some miles in length.
Herm says the new trail section would be about 2.8 miles long. Now, the idea of a multi-use path is not new to the city of Jasper. Herm says the city first explored the idea back in 2003 with NDOT. Some of those trails were built at the time, and the city began the current rescoping process last year. Deputies with the DuBois County Sheriff's Department are investigating the shooting death of a miniature goat. The department says a resident in the 5400 block of North Cuzco Road South near DuBois called in and stated that an unknown person shot the goat from the roadway sometime yesterday afternoon. Anyone who knows anything about what happened is asked to call the DuBois County Sheriff's Department at 482-3522. All callers may remain anonymous. The trial for a Perry County man accused of murdering his fiancée ended with a different outcome than what authorities were expecting. The second day of Henry Whistle Jr.'s murder trial in Perry Circuit Court concluded with Whistle unexpectedly pleading guilty to a lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter in exchange for a 47-year sentence. He said he went forward with the plea deal after consulting the family of 31-year-old Jamie Stowe. The 37-year-old Whistle was charged with beating Stowe to death in their St. Croix home back on July 1st of 2012. Whistle is accused of beating and kicking Stowe, which caused fatal internal injuries. Now, Whistle could have faced up to 65 years in prison had he been convicted for murder. The jury also had an option of convicting him of the lesser voluntary manslaughter charge, which is a Class A felony. That could have brought a lower sentence of 20 to 50 years. Now, the plea agreement, if accepted by Judge Lucy Goffinet at Whistle's February 4th sentencing, would lock in his sentence at nearly the maximum for voluntary manslaughter. Even with the agreement, however, Whistle will receive credit for the more than 18 months that he's been in custody. With Indiana's policy of reducing sentences by half for good behavior, he could wind up out of prison in roughly 22 years. Whistle is currently being held in the Perry County Jail, but has already spent much of his time in custody in various other Indiana prisons because of jail overcrowding issues. Finally this evening, last night marked a special occasion for the town of Ferdinand. The Ferdinand 175th Organizing Committee unveiled the official 175th anniversary logo for the town. A promotional logo that could be used on souvenirs was also released last night. Now, the 175th logo has a silhouette of the town's landscape in addition to the anniversary dates. The town of Ferdinand was founded back in 1840. The logo is decked out in blue and gold colors and was designed by Hannah Beck. 6 stars, each representing a pillar of the Ferdinand Hometown Competitiveness Initiative, are also a part of the logo. Additionally, last night, winners of the committee's raffle were announced. Ferdinand residents swept all 3 prizes, with Don and Sheila Kirsteins taking home the $10,000 grand prize, James and Diane King taking home the $2,500 second place prize, and Pat and Ruth Leakin took home the $1,000 third place prize. Now, the 175th anniversary for the town of Ferdinand is next year and will be celebrated during the middle of June of next year. For more information on the upcoming celebrations, you can go online to Ferdinand175.com, which is currently under construction, or you can like the group's Facebook page, which is Ferdinand 175. All right, coming up after the break, Bridget Jarboe joins me to give an update on DuBois County's potential switch to boat centers, plus your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform featuring SOAR member Rebecca Murder and Andrea King. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.